Yo!
Hello, everyone.
How we doing?
Hello.
Hey yo, welcome to Chalkcast episode number 40.
It's one of them.
I love
something,
it.
40
Is it eight?
something. We
Is
are
it eight?
live from RLCS. Let's go! Yeah, we were muted a little
We
bit.
knew that we were mute. Don't worry, it was intentional. We didn't have a starting soon screens. We just sat here.
We took our headsets off. Hopefully you guys realised we didn't have headsets on, so obviously we
Oh.
can't talk. But Rizzo was trying to bait you guys,
He did
pretending
bait
to
you
talk.
guys.
Yeah, I was
that
just being a
was-
little silly out there, just doing a little
That was
something.
definitely a bit of a knee slapper. It was a good one.
We got him good. Yeah, we're here live. Like I said, we're here live at RLCS Worlds. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here today?
We've been handed a golden opportunity here because we were like, well, I guess we'll just go live and do a little test stream tomorrow, and maybe if it goes well, we could do one of these maybe every day. We'll have to wait and see what's possible. But then, of course, the FaZe Rolldays thing happened, and now we're like, great. That's all the content that we need going in.
Yeah.
We can't really talk about. Well, we can't leak anything because RLCS hasn't
I mean,
gone
we can
live
talk
yet.
about like streams and stuff, but we can't talk about, as you said, the venue itself.
We can't show the
really
venue. We
talk about.
can't talk to we can't spoil anything that will come later today. But after today, we can because it'll all be out there public. What the venue's like, what the production's like. But we're excited. This RLCS LAN is set to be an absolute banger, potentially the go-to LAN. If everything goes
It
to
is
plan.
incredible.
I'm feeling it. Yeah, I'm feeling the go-to land, the goatiest goats of lands. I think it's gonna be one of the best, honestly.
But yeah, we had a little bit of drama as well. We got Benny walking past as well, an absolute superstar. Everyone's still getting set up. I love it. It's just it has that vibe about it, you know. Just there's something in the air, you know. Something's building.
There is.
Obviously,
The players are hyped. The casters are really hyped.
Yep.
Everybody's really excited. The production team really excited. But yeah, we'll probably talk more about the actual event when the event starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also heads up. I don't know. Did we announce this in the Discord? If this so far seems to be quite easy to do because right now it is 1 local time. Our start time for every day is 2 p.m. So it's probably quite easy for us to just get in early every day.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna say early.
by the way, your start time, your rehearsal.
Yours is like
yeah,
what,
so-
5,
No.
6?
I'm saying the broadcast does not start at 2 p.m. The way
Yeah,
you
yeah,
worded
yeah.
that,
Sorry,
some people
sorry.
might
Our
have thought.
call time is 2, and then we need to start our rehearsal at 3, and then the actual show starts I think 4:15 or 4:30 or something.
Yeah,
local
and then
time.
matches start at 5.
Matches
I
start at
believe.
5. But
We-
we're free, or we're not busy any day until 2 p.m. So we could in
we
theory
are
do
the
this
unofficial pre-show.
pre-show.
We are officially the unofficial pre-show.
Wow.
Yes.
Hashtag Chalkcast ad.
We might get in trouble for that, but look, we are the pre-show to the pre-show, and it's just going to be us hanging out. Obviously, you know, throughout as the days progress, we'll have more about talking about the results and, you know, did we see this, did we see that? We'll be able to give some inside scoops with the players. We'll be able to get some players on as well before they warm up for their day, or if they've been eliminated, who knows? But
Yeah.
it should be awesome. We got a perfect setup here, and as you said, this is just as Rizzo's viewing party. So this will turn into Rizzo's viewing party as the days go on. But
Yeah.
before that, it's just the boys hanging out, just getting ready for the day, and we get to talk about drama, as you said, like the
Yes.
whole FaZe
Oh my
situation that
So-
dropped.
Do we just go straight into that? Do we just talk about the whole FaZe situation? Because we did not get much of a heads up about this. We heard that this was happening, I think, like a couple of days ago. But yeah, Rolldays is no longer the coach of FaZe, essentially. That's what's happened. They've decided right before the World Championship that they don't want Rolldays to be the coach. And Rolldays has said himself that there is going to be a new coach, but I don't think FaZe have made any announcements yet. So we have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, Rolldays is off the team, and immediately the guy goes and makes a YouTube video about it.
He's farming.
He knows.
You gotta
he
respect.
did like the whole Reddles. You know, Reddles got kicked at Worlds.
Oh,
He
yeah,
started
that's
streaming.
true. That's
I think that's
true.
what Rolldays was doing. 'Cause he was getting impressions. He was
Yeah.
getting everyone watching his stream. Everyone looking at the
But yeah,
YouTube.
he made the video, and then like 30 minutes later, he goes live on Twitch and talks about it. So they were, there was a lot of drama about that. But then he took the video down. I didn't watch the stream. I was sleeping. But I heard that when he was streaming, he got a phone call. Is this accurate? He got a phone call.
I didn't see it. I heard that as well, though. Like he
Chat,
had a phone
one in
call.
chat if he got a phone call. Because you guys probably, a lot of you in chat maybe
He got
know
a
this.
phone
what
call and
happened?
took it down. But also, you mentioned how like he got kind of the boot right before Worlds, but apparently this was like a thing that was like cooking up for a couple weeks. Like this wasn't like it literally happened today.
The timing is terrible, though,
Yeah.
to post
Yeah.
about it as well.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, okay, wildcard about to start. So by the way.
It was like post major, pre Worlds. You
Yeah,
know,
so
but
he-
it wasn't like it didn't happen like a day ago.
Yeah, so you guys in chat have confirmed he got a phone call while he was streaming. He muted, and then he took the video down. but there's like already multiple.
But then he re-uploaded
reposts.
it as
Oh, did
well.
he? Did he upload it?
I think he re-uploaded.
No,
it.
it's been like recorded. Like before he took it down, he like had other people repost it essentially. So it's uploaded, but not on his channel. Someone else uploaded it. So I've watched it this morning, the reposted one.
Daz is about to sit down and just
Dazerin's
look
about to come
enormous
in and
on this angle.
Daz
He's,
is gonna
he's
look-
going to look like
just gonna
a
look
giant.
massive. Whoa! Look at the size of him.
Wait, let's hope that microphone works real quick.
I can hear him already. I can hear the
Oh yeah, he's fussling it.
fumbling.
Hello?
Oh,
Mic
there he
check.
is.
Oh,
One,
that's
two.
it's
Yeah,
perfect.
there it is.
Toodaloo.
Jeez.
Look at
Daz
the
pulse.
size
Seven
of Daz.
seven foot tall
this-
Daz.
Oh, there we go.
Does not skip
Chad
leg
Daz.
day. Does not skip any day.
Cheese thighs.
Looks
It's
ooh.
gigantic.
God.
It's all right. Look, this is it. We're just getting things set up. This is a little test of it. No, it looks
Yeah.
pretty good.
So Dazerin, we just like been introing the whole Roldiz thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that obviously happened today or last night. Roldiz got dropped. He made a video about it. Then he took the video down because he got a phone call on his live stream. It got reposted by some guys, so everybody's seen it anyway.
Right.
But yeah, Roldiz is no longer the coach of FaZe. What's your initial thoughts?
Well, I made a joke about it because I was like, I'm surprised
Oh,
he
yeah, you
lasted that
tweeted
long.
about
it.
Yeah. I was like, I was surprised he lasted that long, given the fact that FaZe coaches don't really have a good track record of being with the team for a long time.
Mhm.
So there was that, and then what else happened? Oh, I made a joke about the fact that Mist and I guess First Killer's dad were like replying under Jorby's tweet because they were like, "Oh, you don't have all the information." I thought it was funny because
The classic.
right after that, Roldiz
Yeah.
goes and he does what he does, and yeah, no, it was interesting. Actually, I got permission from First Killer to talk about this. I did talk to him. I had to talk with him, and I had to talk with Mist about the whole situation. And obviously, they had their thoughts about it. They feel when they were initially talking about it that were kind of caught off guard by the whole thing. Mist said word for word, we're not acting like we're saints, but there were definitely issues on both sides. And then they were referencing like Roldiz not being available. I think they said like after Winter Regional 2, sometimes he wouldn't show up to scrims. They also said something about if he was like in the call with them while they were doing either scrims or tournaments, he just wouldn't say anything. Like he'd just be like muted or things like that. And they elaborated a little bit more along those lines, just being like, obviously when they were on LAN and on stage, he was talking and that was fine. But they definitely felt like it was kind of bogus of him to talk about Sypical and how like the whole like wanting to retire and things like that. I didn't see the whole stream. I just saw the video that was like
Yeah,
posted.
same. Yeah.
But
How long was the video? I didn't.
18 minutes.
18 minutes, 42
Wow,
seconds.
I saw the snippets.
It's
but-
it's
Yeah.
pretty substantial.
So in terms of like how I feel and how I think about it, it's weird for me personally because like Miss said, there's right. Like if like what they're telling me is true and just taking in what everything everybody's saying is true, like yeah, Miss is right. There is issues on both sides, and I think for me personally, it's kind of tough to hear it because Roldiz is my friend. So
Right.
like, and I obviously work with him, and the things that they're saying aren't really things that I don't know. I couldn't really see it. Like they were bringing up certain situations, like a regional that I know Roldiz had to like go to like a wedding, and I knew about it, but they were like, yeah, we didn't know, and he wasn't there the first 2 days of the regional, and then he showed up Sunday and told us, but we were looking for him and all these things. So
Yeah.
I'm like, really, I don't know how to feel, to be honest. I just really don't, because like I said, like that's someone I
Well,
work
that's
really close
I
with.
mean that's usually the situation. A lot of times is that there is always another side. There's always like
Right.
like Roldiz comes out with the video and immediately before people hear about like this stuff, they're like, oh, Roldiz is like, he's the good guy here. He got like effed over, which
Right.
Yeah.
granted, he probably did. He got booted a little bit, or
Yeah.
he got booted. So like obviously that's unfortunate.
The
and like
timing as well.
he's always
Yeah.
going to look like the good guy in the situation because he got the boot. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, if there's issues on both sides, which there usually is,
Yeah, no one's ever like 100% right. Like,
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
like
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
either way.
Yeah, and that really does put it into perspective. I mean, in the video that I saw, he does basically own up to it. Like he's like, and
Right,
it's my
yeah,
fault.
yeah.
You know, like
He did say that.
Yeah, he
it's
said
just
he
I think
deserved
it's
it.
just the pacing of it all. Like he starts off saying that it's my fault, and then he goes into it, but then after that it's like, okay, but this is what everybody else did too. So I think watching it, you're like, okay, you kind of forget that he makes that admittance because you're focused on all the other stuff that he's bringing to light too. So
Yeah.
it's a lot, man.
No, it's not. It's not fun to hear because, yeah, like I said, Rold is your close friend. I mean, we're all friends with him. He's a really nice guy. He's been in the scene for a long time,
Yeah.
and we want to see him succeed. But yeah, it's not like a good look for FaZe. It's not a good look for the players, and it's not a good look for him. Like everybody kind of
Yeah.
lost in this
Yep.
exchange. At least when it comes to pro play and coaching. Obviously, when it comes to content, Rold is so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's taking a couple
Yeah.
W's there. Like that's definitely a lot of
Yep.
publicity, and yeah, a lot of people are going to take his side, even if not everybody takes your side. You only need like some people to take your side as a content creator to be successful. We saw that with like Rettles. There's big argument about or online about who was in the wrong when he got kicked from SSG, but he definitely like rolled with it pretty well, and he gained a lot from that as a content creator. So
Yeah.
if Rold is if that's the angle he's going down, that'll work. I feel
You
like
can
that
control the
works fine.
narrative a bit. Like if
Yeah.
you put it in your
Yeah.
own hands if you do go live rather than
Yeah.
sit back and let
But
people.
definitely like
think
orgs
about it.
looking at that and players looking at this from other teams, and Rold is like putting together a coaching resume. Definitely not a good look in my opinion, and not a good look for the players either. Like nobody
Yeah.
like and nobody like well maybe not nobody because they actually did say that they've got a new coach in the works. But yeah, they yeah, looking at that situation, hearing Rold has said, I'm sure he's speaking facts about his POV, and I'm sure they're speaking the players speaking facts about theirs.
Yeah.
One of the things that was interesting that he said though in the video is that he wanted to keep AJ. So this is rewinding way back to the start of this season
Yeah.
when he said he wanted to keep AJ because AJ works really hard. He plays the game all the time. He's like a dream player to work with as a coach because
Yeah.
he puts the effort in. But then obviously First Killer disagreed, got missed because what Rold is, I'm pretty sure, said in the video that, and as we all know, First Killer is the one who makes the roster
First
moves.
GM.
He's
First GM.
GM. He's and his dad.
And his dad apparently is
dad,
also
yeah.
like First Killer dad GM. So like, yeah, he's general managing First Killer, who general manages the org.
That was a big part of that video as well. It was like
It
him
was.
talking about First Killer's dad. I think
Yeah.
that was pretty eye-opening for everyone. I think, like within the community, we sort of have a little bit of an idea of like that sort of, that situation, but he really sort of brought that to light about
Yeah.
how much he does, which is
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame to have stuff go outside the team with moves like that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
It's a touchy subject, though, isn't
it
it?
is. It is.
Of course, yeah, it always is with any kind of family, personal stuff. But right now, like there's like a blend between for First Killer, like his family, personal life is blending with his professional life. So
Right.
it's obviously going to be a bit awkward when when it's his dad who's making recommendations, decisions. Maybe not decisions publicly, but definitely recommendations and opinions publicly
Right.
about his profession. And he's an online persona. He's a public figure in some ways. So it's out there.
Yeah, at the end of the
It's all out
day,
there.
at least what I'll say is, at the end of the day, it is still First Killer's decision. His dad can obviously make recommendations, but it's up to him whether or not he wants to listen. I think that he also understands that too. And of course, like you're right, it does mix things in. At the same time, no matter what you guys say about like, and I'm saying you guys, but I'm part of this too, is that about like someone's parent or like First Killer's dad, it's still his dad at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, like even if his dad's in the wrong or whatever, like that's still his dad, and he's always gonna like have that like love and respect for him because it's like family. So it is tough, and I try to. It's hard too because even for me, I don't want to talk about First Killer's dad like that. Like I'm like.
Yeah.
I just don't want to talk
You
about
don't
his
want
dad
to
like
say
that. But
that, yeah, someone who's obviously like really close to him, as close as a dad is, that you don't want to say this is an unhelpful relationship. A lot of people are speculating this isn't productive. This isn't the most efficient way to manage a team. And obviously when you say that about a coach, or when you say that about like a friend or an advisor, an analyst, anyone, a consultant, that's fine because it's purely professional. But this is, like I said, personal and professional at the same time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense when somebody might take that personally on First Killer's behalf, or him himself or his family taking it personally, because it's literally personal. But I think the only thing that I find questionable, and this is like more generally in Rocket League, it's a general Rocket League thing, is the almost pre-jumping roster moves that always happens. And the fact that it always ends up being public is the problem, in my opinion. Because if you're, really, if you want the best for your team and you want the best results, the best success, surely you don't want anything to do with roster moves to be public before a tournament, before like an event. But there's so much of it happening in Rocket League because players think that, it's beneficial for them to tell someone in confidence who then goes and leaks it, or the player might think I can tell this person and they're not them leaking it benefits me. I don't know what players really thinking a lot of the time, but way too much gets out public that shouldn't, and it's got to have an effect on results. It's got to have an effect on the motivation of players, the trust, the on the pitch, off the pitch trust. Because if your team's trying to bench you and you know that, and it's happened many times this season where players they've attempted to bench a player and then they're like, well, I guess we're stuck with him now. How are you going to perform to your best when that happens?
Oh yeah. No, if I was FaZe like right now, if I was the players, I would just uninstall Twitter, Reddit. Don't look at it. You're only going to see like. You might see some people on your side, but the people who are not with you or whatever is just going to be like that much worse. You're reading it, and then you want to reply, and then
Chalkcast notifications off. Do not watch this. If you're a FaZe player, turn it off.
Well, keep the Chalkcast notifications on. But besides that, completely just like disconnect. I would say from like all social media because it's just not worth it.
It isn't worth it.
Go and look in 2 weeks, and I guarantee people aren't even going to be talking about it for the most part. Usually people will just forget about it for the most part, and then you might see some things here and there, but like even then, just take a break from it. Don't even look.
I mean, getting back to your like going public, it's so hard for it not to go public because if you're you're a team looking for a new player, you have to try out other players. So those players are going to obviously know that you're getting rid of someone. The same with a coach. Like everyone, I guess, has sort of known that Roldies hasn't been the coach because he hasn't been in scrims and getting
all
other
the
people.
Scrims that they
and once that gets out, because you have to look for other people in the process. Like it's hard. You can't get everyone to sign an NDA that you scrim against or like
they should have had a fake Roldies in there to someone in an account called Roldies like joining every time to cover their tracks. Get the new coach to just change his name. I don't know, but yeah, the how this relates, I think, to FaZe is when a lot of comments about players in the team are coming in from First Killer's dad on Twitter. I don't think that is appropriate at all. To see past and present teammates just being blamed on social media for losses. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand that. It's not productive to do that from like a public image perspective. It's not productive to do that from a winning and getting the dub perspective either, because that's just putting unnecessary pressure on the players. So I've definitely seen a lot of interactions, mostly like on social media, that I'm like, well, that's not smart. You probably shouldn't tweet that. But that's obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. Like, that's not a controversial statement in the slightest. But
it's just the reason I laughed is because it's so funny that it's had an effect that it even like bleeds into the broadcast. Because do you two know who LeVar Ball is?
I don't actually.
Do you know?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a parent of these basketball players. Yeah. And he was very in front of the media, taking interviews.
GM.
Yeah, just talking about his boys and how they're going to take over the league and all this other stuff. And I used to make a joke about like First Killer's dad being like LeVar Ball of Rocket League. And I definitely told it to Stax once. Stax found the clip. I think it was FaZe against Gen G in one of the matches, and they were up like 4-0 in either Game 5 or Game 7, and Sipco scores, and Stax's call is like, Sipco scores another one. Maybe Rocket LeVar can get off his back.
Oh my God.
You're joking, bro.
That is wild.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It's like so many people would just not pick that up.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no one
goodness.
picked it up, but of course
What?
that's in total Stax fashion. It's so funny.
I
That's
feel like
good.
so in to put it like bigger picture again, with like just so many instances in Rocket League behind the scenes and on social media, like mid tournaments, in the middle of like a series, there's like just players, just being terrible
It is-
teammates.
It is so
Well, okay, this
bad.
is not even just like a FaZe thing
It's
as well.
not,
You know,
it's
not,
where,
it's a
where
Rocket League
people
thing.
where people are talking about like
Yeah.
FaZe don't get on the game. It's like a lot of players don't get on the game. Like they don't
Yeah,
try.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of players don't try.
But
It's
also, like the amount of tournaments that we go to, Johnny, and we talk to players or teams, like previously other majors and stuff, and they're like, teams in the bin. We're all
Yeah,
giving
they're-
up. Like we're all kicking. Everyone's
Yeah.
kicking. Everyone like, and
They're
then you talk to
not-
another
Yeah.
person like, yeah, we're kicking our team. We haven't won a screen.
It's
Like,
sort
It's like
half
Rise.
the
Rise
team
has
is
brought it up like 3 times on Shotcast.
Yes,
How we talk about how they got second at the major. He goes, "Oh, that was the most fraudulent,
honestly,
like second
like
place
half
ever."
the teams
Oh,
at every
no.
LAN of
He didn't
B2
even
have been
believe.
like, we hate each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
We're breaking up after
Mental's
this.
bad, but it's because it's
so
a young
bad.
scene and no one is really like. I don't think players realize how important it is to just be good teammates, like and be good.
I've been thinking about this
colleagues.
for weeks. I'm so glad you said it for months.
Yeah, to be good colleagues. You know, is such an important
be
thing.
somebody that other people want to be around is
Yes.
like
Right.
it be like that. Something that simple is like so helpful
Like some
in your
players,
whole career.
like genuinely, there's so many top tier players who, and this is like CJ said, not a FaZe thing. It's a Rocket
No,
League thing
it's-
in general. Like not everyone, not every team, but so many teams, so many top tier players are just terrible. Like teammates, they're terrible in comms. They're terrible, colleagues, and they put unnecessary pressure on their teammates. They put unnecessary, bad vibes into the comms. And when you're doing that, you're just actually dropping the ball. Like you can learn how to be a good teammate. You can learn how to not sigh when a goal goes in.
It just
It's
becomes like
practice.
insufferable because then
Yeah.
like your teammates don't even want to be there. They don't want to show up and they don't want to play the game because
Yeah, they don't want to scrim.
now
You're
they know-
sighing in scrims. They
Yeah.
don't want to like put hours into the game because they associate the game Rocket League with bad vibes and the part of their day that is just they just don't enjoy. They'd rather do anything
the
else.
one thing they don't want to do. Yeah.
And it's hard for us, like, when we jump on the desk, like, as analysts, when we've heard from, like, half the teams,
Yeah.
going into the tournament, like, we're breaking up, we're so, like, oh, we're not even going to try this one, like, we're done. And then you get on the desk and you're like, like, what do I do?
This
'Cause no
team's
one
been
knows.
looking
Nah.
good. These got
Sometimes
good vibes
it's
all
just
over the
messes
place.
with
Wait,
you.
let me read this chat comment before it flies by. It says having a dynamic of 3 players is a very awkward number as
True.
well, which is a big part of why environments of every team in the world, every team falls at some point. Teams of larger groups and numbers a lot easier to work through, usually in sports at least. That's
Yeah,
a good point. Yeah, team
100%.
of 3 can be awkward, especially with the 2/3 rule for transfers.
It's
putting a lot of pressure on
and
players as well.
I feel like even if you're like, everything's all good as a team, you're always going to have 2 of the players are closer than
Right, yeah.
two-thirds, and that other guy's always like the extra.
Mm.
Or you have the situation where the coach is like closer to one of the players or 2 of the players than someone
Yep.
else, or they're their friend or something. So as Jack said, like it's 33% of the team.
But
Like,
yeah,
it's-
I
it's
think
crazy.
it is true. That's a good point. But I think that it can also still like they can both be true. Like the fact that I think a lot of top tier players are fully in blame mode. I'm not the problem. My teammates are terrible.
Yeah.
My teammate literally missed the ball. How's that my fault? And that's there is an
Yeah.
element of truth to that. When somebody whiffs, it's not your fault if you're just watching your teammate whiff. But you can still a lot of these young players can still be better teammates. They can learn how to be good motivators, learn how to be, good in the better in comms, better vibes, more positive. And so obviously, like in different environments, some teams will thrive with a more, serious vibe. Some teams will thrive with a more like positive
Have fun
vibe.
middle.
It's all about,
All about the
figuring out
camp.
what works.
But I think it's like it's sort of not an issue in esports, but a sort of a lot of these players haven't come from, I guess, sporting or like just
Competitive
team.
background.
Yeah, team where you're like, you have to, it's all about being a part of a team and,
Mhm.
making sure you're showing up on time, not letting your team down, stuff like that. A lot of these players have just been, just found their little niche, but they hadn't been on a competitive environment. And even some of the players coming through haven't even played on teams. Like the
Yeah.
players sometimes that are getting picked up are just with whatever and have to have a scrim schedule and stuff. And these kids have
Bro,
been spending
never.
their bedroom,
they have
working on
no
their own
training.
clock, just doing their own
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
thing.
learning on their own, and obviously, like the correlation between like being a good Rocket League player, like being naturally good at the game, or able to learn Rocket League really fast and have a high skill ceiling in a game, a controller-based, car ball game, it's probably not going to have a ton of crossover with people who are naturally good leaders, good teammates, good at winning in like a team environment, and good at being good.
You say be a good teammate, but like just imagine ranked. Like everybody, like that's where they learn.
Yeah, you
like,
learn
that's where they
in
come up
ranked,
from. You learn from being toxic and ranked. You just come up to the top, and you're like, well, my toxicity works.
Down on the way down.
No, I was gonna say like, bro has no social life. He stays inside his house and he just plays Johnny Boy 1v1s all day long. And then just gets high praise. Then he gets on a team. He's like, oh, I have to talk to people. I've never talked to anybody in my life. I'm super antisocial. But yeah, it's just like sometimes that could be a come up.
It's so many people.
Yeah.
That's like the honestly like the advice that players need a lot of the time from coaches, from family, from friends outside of the game, is like they need more help with their mental game than they do with actually playing Rocket League and being good at Rocket League. And it's why, mental coaches, hype men, are, sometimes it's used as an insult that this coach just a hype man. It's honestly what these players need more than gameplay coaching a lot of the time. Like we have to keep saying, not for everyone. There are some players who are very good at being good teammates. They know how to win. They know how to motivate their teammates. They know how to not be like just a terrible player to work with and play with. But yeah, a lot don't, and they don't have that guidance, and they don't even realize that it's something they can improve on. They just think, oh well, I guess I'm just toxic.
Yeah, and
I guess I guess that's just me.
I guess it's just my personality. I am just a toxic person.
I love
no,
myself.
you can improve, especially at that young age. You can change for the veterans so much, and you can really learn real life mechanics, if you want to put it that way.
And it's just, I guess, that individualistic mindset, if you would, is just, there's so many players, even at the highest level right now, it's sort of like, as you said, they won't critique themselves. They're happy to, someone misses a shot, but they'll be like, well, I played well, so like it's not my problem. Like, they don't think of things as a team.
I always think of that when I see like a tweet. It'd be like after a player loses a series or a team loses a series, and one player tweets out like, I feel like I played so well. Unfortunately, we didn't get the dub.
Yeah.
But I'm always thinking about like, it's always like
you
a backhanded thing. Like it always looks like that to me.
That's a stupid tweet. Like that's just a bad tweet, because if you
But I see it so much.
Yeah, it's
we're
all
gonna
the
see it.
time.
I guarantee we'll see it at this event.
Not only that, that's only what you guys see. I can promise you there are way more instances of a team losing. Immediately somebody leaves the call, the Discord call,
or
goes to a
muting,
Discord
deafening.
with their friends and being like, what more can I do? I was perfect. I did.
Yeah.
I was perfect.
Or typing in between games and stuff on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what to do.
It all happens, and that is just bad habits. It is not productive. Like to just blame your
I've heard
teammates
many,
with.
like a couple of EU and NA teams that are like, this guy, I can hear him typing like during goals like, on Steam to his friends. Like, oh my God, he's done it again. He's missed the ball. Like, it's there's certainly a long way to go with Rocket League. There is a long way to go. But talking about tweet stuff, there's an iconic OC. I can't remember like who. Actually, I think I can remember who it was, but I'm not going to call anyone out. But you talked about, it wasn't my fault. Played well.
Yeah.
This one tweet that was iconic. We always talk about in OCE is these guys like 3-0'd a team and tagged them and said, GG's, you guys played insane.
That's bold.
That is like so backhanded.
That's a banger,
after beating the big, like, you guys played insane, GG's.
3-0 versus this team, GG's, you guys played insane.
It's so, like, that is the worst.
Was that like supposed to be backhanded, or was it like...
I think it was just like, it was like a crazy series.
It seems like an OC humor type thing.
But like at the same
that.
time, it's like, you can't say that. Like, they lost. Even if it was 3-2, you can't say, like, you guys played insane. We're just, like, more insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are
It's
exposing these kids, bro.
we're just being
general advice. I don't think I don't think we've said any names.
We're venting a little bit.
No, we haven't
very,
said names, no.
This is very widespread. It's not a
Yeah.
FaZe issue specifically. It's just kind of related to what's going on right now with FaZe and Roll Days. Saying there were problems here, problems there, problems everywhere. But what we've talked about before, I forget if it was live or on a bonus episode, about coaches. I've heard players discussing like, we need to make this roster move mid-tournament.
Pre-tournament,
it'll be like they take a loss in the upper bracket, and then before the lower bracket match the next day, they're like, yeah, I think we should bench this guy for that guy. Yeah, really good idea.
While they're still in the tournament.
I'm hearing like, not just players, because obviously when players do this, I can kind of understand it because they're not mature enough to realize how counterproductive that is to their success literally tomorrow. But when I hear coaches, like, people are supposed to be more mature, and this is not directed at Roll Days, by the way, before I know People are going to assume
Yeah.
it is. It isn't. But I've heard, some coaches, some friends
Some
of
coaches
players,
are GMs more than
yeah,
coaches,
they're just
aren't
like
they?
trying
Yeah.
to pull the strings
Yeah.
and start trying to say, yeah, we should bench this guy. We should get this guy instead. Mid-tournament, I'm like, you're
Yeah.
playing tomorrow. You should be talking about what can we do better. You should be talking about how can we get the best possible results tomorrow, and then after a tournament, you should, do
I
that.
mean, like we had like a taste of that last year. Remember Space Station with Reddles?
Mhm.
Like they lost and then he found out he was kicked.
Yeah.
During Worlds.
But
this
they,
Saturday.
they did wait till after to have that
But
discussion publicly.
yeah, they had it publicly, but at the same time, it's like y'all had to have had that talk before that happened. It's not like y'all walked off the stage, had a group like chat for like 5 seconds, like yeah, we kicking him. Okay, yeah, we kicking him. Hey, Reynolds, bye. It's like y'all had to have had this discussion.
I
prior.
feel like
Before, yeah.
well, so there's like there are kind of like I think ways that you can do it right, because obviously with Rocket League there are high profile players you need to try and get a hold of, and you need to try and plan your best next transfer move, of course. But it's all about how to do it.
Yeah.
If that is the topic at an event, like you've just lost a series in an upper bracket, and the topic between like a coach and a player, or like a manager and a player, someone in an org and a player, or two players talking about their other guys, yeah, we got to bench that guy. Like you're literally playing tomorrow. That should not be the time to do that. The time I think to do that is like in your off day, the Monday. If you're
because
like
you're already
off on
giving
Monday,
excuses for when you lose. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's-
we're gonna get rid of him.
it's like
now.
your head's not in the game. But yeah, if you're
Yeah.
planning like next transfer window roster move, and you're trying to pick up a really good talented player, that's fair enough when it isn't like at a detriment to your ability to win
Yeah.
in game. It should not like be happening as copium for a loss, which we're going to probably say this a lot, but this is not regarding
Yeah,
we're
I
not
think
talking about
we're
Rollers. We're not talking about FaZe
yeah.
right now. But we don't
Yeah,
want to
it just
expose
kind of
either.
sparked the conversation. The whole
Yeah.
FaZe thing kind of sparked the conversation.
The
For-
whole-
for people tuning in, we are going to keep saying that because I know somebody's going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe Rollers
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that.
No,
You did.
the whole thing, like we talked about the players and how some people, like players, coaches, like the scene has a long way to go just in terms of general like professionalism and stuff. So it's not just the players, it's not just this coaches or managers. It's kind of just the whole scene. It's still in its infancy
Yeah.
in terms of where it can be, like
It's
on
like
a professional level.
honestly, maybe is it just the inability to deal with losses? Because I feel like if people were able to like take a loss and just be like, okay, yeah, they were better, let's improve. That would honestly fix so much, especially in the short term. Like just being able to handle losses without pointing fingers at teammates, pointing fingers at they're cringe because they stratted kickoffs. Like actually
Yeah.
try and just be better.
It's kind of like when you'd scrim and you'd win like 4-3 in a scrim. You're like, oh, that was a good scrim. You'd lose 3-4 and you're like, oh, we suck. You know what I mean? It's like, it might be
This
like
is
one
horrible.
silly goal, but or it's the same as in tournaments. You lose a game 7 OT, and if you win it, you don't even do replays afterwards. You're like, we're sick. And if you lose, you're like, we need to like get in the everyone replay analysis right now.
One
like,
goal determines
one goal.
your
It's
whole
like,
mentality on
we
that
suck.
week.
So
A lot of teams get so sad when they're just like chain losing scrims, which is it's understandable when you just lost your 4th or 5th scrim in a row, 0-7. You just haven't won a game in
0-7.
weeks.
0-7
You
is
forgot what
crazy.
winning's like. But you hear these stories of hyper competitive like players in real sports where they lose. They take so many L's before being able to break into the top tier because they're learning the whole way. They're like, okay, this is what we're going to improve. This is what we're going to get better at now. Now we're going to improve this. And then finally they break into that next level. And it's because you have to be able to deal with losses without pointing fingers, coping, trying to, immediately change a player. I don't know. But yeah, we see First Skill in chat right now. We've not really.
Yeah,
we
it's sort
went
of
a bit off.
skimmed
We
past
went a
it.
bit off the FaZe First Skill. FaZe rolled his drama at the start here. We've gone on tangents, but yeah, we want to hear everybody's side of the story, of course.
yeah, as you said, like he's saying it's annoying because obviously he's copying a lot of it, and this is kind of what happens when things go public, like you were talking
Yeah.
about. And it's not always 100-0. It's not like
Yeah.
it's Rolders is the saint in this situation. It's the player's fault. It's always a little bit of both sides. It's never, it's more of a 50-50 thing. So it's hard to control the narrative like we're talking about. And
Luckily for FaZe, for the team, they can control the narrative because they're just playing.
if
They're
they
straight up-
win,
they're
if they win as well, yeah,
they're straight up playing. Like Rolders can control his own narrative because he's no longer contracted. He can talk. the FaZe players, they don't actually need to really say anything. A lot of people are demanding statements, but they could just play. They could just go and play, and if they have improved results, then there will be no more questions. Nobody will ask anything. So that's what they should really be focusing on. Is like let's just prepare as best as possible, come in with the best vibes, the best plans, and get the job done. Because the job is to win. It's not to like get people to
Make
like
everyone
you on
happy.
social media. Like who cares about all that?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I just want first and foremost get it. No, but first, we were talking a little bit earlier, and I mentioned that like I think the best thing to do in like your situation, because obviously you guys have this like 100-0 sort of thing, is kind of just like hop off social media, because I mean you just want to
100%.
focus on Worlds, do your thing, focus on all that, because like right now it's only going to be negative, and like what you look at is only going to make it worse. So I think like if you were to take like one action, it would just be delete Twitter. Like, you know, get off Twitch or Reddit or whatever. Like, don't read stuff, because right now is probably the worst time to read it.
Yeah, so First Killer says his mind is racing. That is completely valid.
Logical,
totally expected.
You
We've
want to read it even though you don't.
We've all been there. Like there has been like things that have happened, and we're like, okay, I'm being portrayed in a way that I don't agree with at all. We've all had that happen, and it is. Even if only 10% of the comments or 5% of the comments are negative, that's enough to really ruin your day and really like distract you from whatever it is you're trying to get done. So I would agree. Yeah, getting off social media and just talking to people, your team, your close friends that you trust, and focusing on the job, because there is adequate distraction. It's the World Championship next week. That's a good way to motivate yourself.
Jack's right there in terms of like we were talking about controlling the narrative, and he says like sort of whoever speaks out first gets the public vote. And I think like what we're talking about with FK, and unfortunately for that situation, obviously the timing was bad, and the way if they could if the players side or FaZe side could have controlled it a bit better and been like, a few weeks ago or something, or after the mate's like, hey, this is what's happened. We've decided to bring in this person. Instead, we really think this is going to drive us to a world championship. And then people can still be like, oh, that kind of sucks for Roldies, but at least we know why they're doing it.
More
but when,
time,
but when it just comes out like a day before, well, obviously they're not playing here, but they're playing the World Cup. Are they? No. Obviously, like a day before, I guess, World starts the whole thing, and then just kind of like, see you later, thanks. Like, unfortunately, it didn't get released in the right way for your perspective for first and the players, and you either, like Jack said, you might have to like come out and be like, well, this is why, this is what happened, but at the same time it's like unlucky, like it's come out in a bad way.
I don't think
you just
have to though. I really don't think Jack's right. The first person to speak everybody's going to sway that way, especially when it's the person who got kicked right before Worlds. That is always going to be seen as the underdog in that story, and always seen as the person who you should back naturally. But I honestly think if I was you, First Killer, I would just tweet something like explain, Roll Days we've decided to remove Roll Days. We've handled it behind the scenes personally, like between you two, or you're going to handle your own relationship personally, and it's not going to be on social media. And for now, just you're going to uninstall socials and focus on getting the best possible result at Worlds. Full stop. It doesn't need to. I honestly, that's what I would do, or what I would try to imagine I would do in that situation. Is no, you don't need to say Roldiz did this, Roldiz did that, I did this, I did that, my team's this. I think that is not something, like as a player or an org, you want to be putting out there. Roldiz can do what he wants to do because he's no longer contracted. That's up to him. But I wouldn't engage. I wouldn't turn this into a finger pointing contest. I would just say, we'll handle it behind the scenes. I'm not trying to get likes, not trying to get retweets.
Because that's first, obviously first you have your own side, but Roldies has his. And as we said, it's never going to be 100-0. So even if you come out and say, well, Roldies did this, and this, after he said you guys did this, and this, it's never. No one's got to be like, oh, all right, we're all on first side, or we're all on this side. Like it's still going to be that back and forth. So as you said, the best thing you do is you could be
crystal clean, perfect in this scenario, which it sounds like everybody's made a few mistakes, but even if you were perfect, nobody's gonna you're not gonna get everybody believing you anyway. So there's no point. There's no point even trying to get everybody to understand your side of the story. In this instance, it's better to just handle it behind the scenes, tell everybody that you're focusing on the job at hand, and then actually do that. Just go through with the promise. Get on the grind.
It's
the
a
result.
lesson in controlling the narrative a bit. I don't know if it was FaZe's like the org's fault that they were sort of like, oh yeah, we better actually like announce this before World starts to do it the day before. But it's certainly a lesson in like how you need to be careful with how you go about it. And as you said, if they came out with a post saying like, this is what we've done, and this is why we're doing it, and this is who we're bringing in, and we believe it's in the best interest of the team, and we'll deal with like the personal stuff behind closed doors.
And
That'd have been
everyone-
perfect.
All the haters will hate no matter what you do. All the people who are like on the fence will, they will like that, like hype and all that drama will die down over time anyway. So you don't need to worry about all that. Like
we could be the
You
PR
know,
team.
the most, I feel like the most, well, maybe I just think I'm so smart and logical, but I feel like the most logical people,
Okay.
the most logical people like won't really say much about it, as we're doing a whole podcast about it. No, but they won't say much about it, but like they'll understand that both sides, they weren't.
Yeah, we
there
wanna
is, there
wait
is
for
not
everything.
100-0 here. It's 50-50. Both sides made mistakes. They understand that.
Yeah.
Just
So like the more extreme people are the ones who are going to respond, and those extreme people are usually the ones you don't want to be reading from. You don't want to see those tweets.
I appreciate the PR advice, guys. Like that,
Yeah,
that was really. I feel like people pay for that stuff.
if
though.
they need us as a PR
Yeah.
agent,
we do like to talk about the goings on in the Rocket League scene to fill in anyone who might have missed it and try and keep up to date ourselves. But at the end of the day, we don't want like these players. We don't want Roldays to just get cancelled. Like no, we don't want them to be just dragged through the mud. Like that's not what we want.
Right.
So yeah, we love to. We do always say that we'd love to see more drama between players and teams. I would love for there to be more reason.
It's pretty funny
to care about a matchup.
this kind of
but
stuff is like we could have avoided this probably
Like,
if we dealt with this better.
yeah. It's you got to find the balance. Like there's a fun way to do it. I feel like with all the
Twitter
regional
stuff
one
is
EU
mostly
Twitter
fun.
stuff
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. And I don't think anyone really got dragged through the mud during all that. But in this one, yeah, this is different because obviously it's like very personal and you've got to like try.
Both
carefully.
sides are upset as well. 'Cause
Right.
like how it's happened.
But yeah, get off social media, young man.
There's your
First gotta
PR.
Get off social media. Get missed off social media. Get Sypical off social media. Actually, Sypical never tweets. He's fine.
Yeah.
He never tweets. I was gonna say to switch this up a little bit
Yeah,
to
we've
go
got 10
from
minutes.
like
Let's get back to the
to switch up from exactly what we were just talking about there. Just a little segue here. But I don't like the whole thing with a lot of people say like first killer, like roster killer, right? I've made the joke. Obviously, I've said it. It's kind of funny. But like there is like people who actually take that seriously to where like first killer is like constantly like imploding rosters, but like it happens all the time.
It's
Like,
not
so-
just first killer. It's like K-Dop did it back in the day, and he had a lot of success.
K-Dop was ruthless.
Pashy did it
Pashy
a
was
lot.
ruthless.
He
Like,
came
this has
second at
always
Worlds.
happened, but,
Pashy
like,
came
for
second at
some
Worlds
reason-
after benching both his teammates from an org to de-org them the day before a roster window.
That's
Like,
insane.
and then they came second. So like it's all about getting the.
But
dub at
like,
the end of the day.
first constantly gets the flack for it. But like, it happens so much. I mean, Rise is on a new team every week. It seems like
Yeah, and everybody loves
Why
that.
can't-
But they
yeah,
don't like first killer change of teammates. It's
yeah,
a little bit unfair.
And Rise literally said, and it was great honesty, right? And we loved it. I loved to hear it. I don't know about you guys, but he was just like, I didn't want to stay on Oxygen because I did not see that team winning Worlds. I don't think us as a team could have won Worlds. And it's like brutal honesty, but that's the reason
And
he
like,
swapped.
in the same way, if First Killer or anyone doesn't see his team winning Worlds and they want to make a move because of that, that is totally reasonable. Now, I've been critical of some of their moves in the past because I think, I honestly, like I've said this before, I think Illusion was the best play style to ever play with First Killer on FaZe. Like that kind of player who's just willing to play for the team,
Support
doesn't
player.
care about how much boost he's got, and doesn't care like how stupid he's going to look when
They were
he
good on lane
gets
too.
outplayed as first challenge. Yeah, I really like that kind of player, like that kind of like just dirty player on the pitch. Who's
bit
just
of like a
cutting about.
Radossin about it.
Bit
Just
of
a
a
bit
Radossin,
of,
yeah.
Where he had like
Let me
that
just-
record illusion of like 25, 23 demos or something like that in a single game.
So I know Illusion actually like didn't he want to transition to coaching anyway, so that kind of made sense. But yeah, the players that they ended up getting FaZe over the years are just kind of passive players, and that's why I think they do struggle to really impose their pressure on LAN. But
We're still yet to
he's
see
listening
that.
to
Like,
Jack says Illusion's listening. I take it all back. I'm sorry.
we're still yet to see, like as you said, you kind of every team needs that sort of support player, that team that's willing
Yeah.
to sort of do the
Or every
do the
team just
dirty
needs
work,
players who are all doing that. Because if
Yeah,
everybody's
or
doing that, if
everyone's doing it.
everybody's playing for each other instead of playing for themselves and just going to be like, you know what, I could challenge here with 5 boosts and my teammate will get the ball, but nah, I want my teammate to challenge. I'm going to go get 100 boosts and then I get the ball. Like, you know, you
Because-
need players
yeah.
who are going to do the best, make the best play, not be like, actually, I'm uncomfortable because I've got 5 boosts. I'd rather have 100.
Because
I'm gonna
like
go get
defense is so good now, you can't just have the 3 like most mechanical players in the world and it'll be like, all right, your turn, then I'll go next and see if I can 1v3. You know what I mean? You have to have someone that's going to be able to clear the road. You know, like you were doing back in the day. Grab the boost, clear him out of the way. That's kind of what Redoson's all about. Has anyone
it's tough,
noticed that
though,
Rizzo
like,
loves Maroonta?
it. He does.
It feels
Just
like
got
that
into
role
that.
doesn't get
What's wrong with
love.
it?
What's that, Daz?
I said it feels like those roles that you guys are talking about don't get like that much love though at the big.
Yeah.
big
Oh,
set,
no,
you know,
never.
like everybody only
It's always about the superstar.
It's
player.
always
Right.
about the flipper set.
right,
It's
but
the guy that scores it.
but that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you need those players, but they don't really get the spotlight. And sometimes they get the blame if the team does.
They're the first players to get kicked as
Yeah.
well.
That's true.
That's like in every
Yeah.
sport, though, isn't it? Like those sort of role players are the ones that
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
no one talks about. But I guess like the hardcore fans love them; they're their favorite players. But on the outside, you're looking at the guy that's putting up the score per game.
That's
not the guy
why
that gets the
you
demo.
know when Zen did that in Regional 1, I was like, that's actually sick. This
And
like
they all said he
superstar
wasn't-
came in and he just
was
like he was a
terrible.
role player for his team because his team needed him to be one, and I was so impressed. But everybody was like, Zen underperformed. He didn't live up to the hype, or a lot of people said that, which you know is a matter of opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, how long have we got now before we've
we
got
don't have long.
call time in 5 minutes.
Do you have to
so-
like actually be there in
No,
five?
Well, we've
no,
got
we're
to be in the building.
we're-
at 2
we're
p.m. We are
chilling.
here, you know.
are here.
We'll wait to get pinged. If
Well, production are just gonna be like, "Why are you guys not here for rehearsal?" But yeah,
rehearsal's at 3.
It's at
It's
3.
in an hour, so I
Gotta
think
get changed, get our makeup
yeah.
on. Yeah, First Killer says, "I appreciate the advice. I'm gonna go now, but have a good rest of your podcast and stream, guys. Thank you, First Killer, and you
All
have
the
a
best
good
with your
rest of your
tournament.
prep.
Toodaloo.
Looking forward to seeing you guys in Germany when you get here. I don't think they're here yet, are they?
I'm not
Nah,
sure.
they're not.
They're
No.
not.
I don't. No, they're not.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
get some rest.
get some real life interaction and get some Rocket League practice in. None of that social media nonsense.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Use
trust.
it to fuel you,
Yeah.
Please
motivate
stay
you,
away. Yeah.
get those hours up, and well, maybe
Yeah,
not
and
fuel.
like, yeah, the best way to tell your story is to win.
Yeah,
Is to
use
just
it as
get dubs
motivation.
on LAN. You can speak way more. Like that'll speak more than any kind of Twitlonger will. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Anyway, tournament starting today, boys. What are we? How we feeling?
Guys, what are you up to today? I've got 2 casts on the B stream. I'm looking forward to it.
I think I do as well.
I got Power Oxygen. I was in the car with Stacks. We were talking about the possibility of Power winning that. He was like, "We're trying to gauge how crazy it would be." I probably say that's like a 7. If 10 is like insane, then yeah, 7's probably like the crazy number there.
I rate power though. I actually
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
but that's why I'm saying it's a 7.
Yeah.
If they were completely underdogs and they won, I'd say like a 10. But
That's also a friendly rivalry matchup because Amphis and Archie are good friends.
Yep.
I think, yeah, they both really want to beat each other. But yeah, if Power show up with their, started their spring major form, I think they could absolutely take that. The problem is like Oxygen or Jory is in Swiss.
Yeah.
He's never lost a series in Swiss, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
But man, it's been
Cal
so long
with
since we've seen him play.
He's 9
been a
series
while.
to 0 in Swiss, and then I think in like playoffs he's never won. He's 0-5 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's like
His at full major, they had the day off. They went 9-0.
yeah, they went 9-0 in
Last
the
year.
very first fall major,
Yeah,
and then they
Sweden.
lost immediately in Swiss. They got out of groups in winter, lost immediately in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and then spring again. They actually last season spring they weren't there. World they just lost twice. So yeah, after going I think 3-1 in Swiss, they
Yeah.
lost 1 in wildcard. That's correct. Actually, I think they got 4-0'd by Optics. That wasn't the best series, but they did really well in Swiss. Let's just say. And Joreas is grinding. He's grinding a ton.
speaking of Jorius, now keep in mind, Sax told me this stat. I'm not really good with stuff unless I like write it down myself. But if what I remember is correct, Jorius has played either 94 games on LAN, and he's also scored, I believe, 94 goals.
Oh wow!
wow.
Yeah,
1 goal per
so-
game is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, and
I feel like he would ruin-
averages a
he-
goal per game.
He would ruin it if he got like more.
So when he gets
No.
100,
if he was at like 95 goals
He's
and
gotta
94
keep
games,
going.
Yeah,
that
we're
would kinda
expecting
ruin
do
him
we
to
get
hit
him a
100
cake
in our
when he gets
series.
100 or something?
A cake?
Celebration?
Celebration.
Yeah.
Just to
Good
go
on
run by.
I hope he gets
behind him
100
with
in
some-
100.
Some party poppers. Like,
That'd be pretty sweet.
100 in 100. Keep that up. No, they're looking good. I feel like Oxygen is that is that team that everyone's kind of writing off just because
But
we haven't seen them
if
for
they
so long.
lose
But
today,
they could,
everybody's gonna flip on them. I'm
Yeah.
flipping on them immediately. I'm like, they're
yeah.
trash. Nah,
They
they're
could
really-
easily, like, they could easily be the team that goes 3-0 through wildcard. And we're like,
I-
oh yeah,
that's
of
my-
course.
I-
Like it's Jorius and like,
That was my
you know,
prediction. 3-0 Oxygen
Yeah.
because they do really well in Swiss, and then I've got them going 0-2 in main. So sorry, Oxygen.
Uh,
Nothing personal. I root for
I
them.
think that's a game 5 though. First, because I feel like it's a first series. Like everyone's going to be a little bit shaky still.
Game 7. You mean it's all best of 7?
Oh, sorry, game 7 it is.
Yeah.
All best of
Oh,
sevens.
maybe not game 7 then. Maybe game 6.
Twisted Minds Pioneers is a good
We've
one.
got that. Yeah, I've
There's
got that
a
one on the
really
main stream.
funny
Nice.
situation. What was it? Banana Head goes up to Stumpy and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna win 4-1." And the Stumpy's like, "What? 4-1? So you think you're gonna win 4-1 specifically?" He says, "Yeah, I bet you I'll win 4-1." And then Stumpy says, "So not 4-2, not 4-0, not 4-3, just 4-1." He says, "Yeah, you want?" And they shook on it. So Banana Head
He's
said
confident.
they're gonna win 4-1 against Twisted Minds, and then
Twisted Minds is
They're not
is
gonna
like
win by
the
any of the score.
opposite of Oxygen, where everyone's like, I guess, on the meaner hype
Yeah,
train a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, they're, you know, they've seen how competitive they've been against the Raw ones who have
Mhm.
obviously getting top 4 out of LAN. But they could also just bomb out as well. They could
They
either,
could, yeah.
they're kind of like the opposite of Oxygen, where everyone's like, oh, this team's crap, like we haven't seen them, but they could do really well. We're kind of expecting Twisted Minds to do well
Mhm.
based on the form of, I guess,
Yeah.
Rule 1. But we don't really know, and like I've heard a couple of scrims where they're like, there's some other teams like, maybe they're not as good, but I mean, they've got the results, I guess, in MENA to show that they can be good enough. It's going to be a great series because KCP as well. I don't know. I just don't know what you're going to get with them. Like we've seen them on when they're good, they're good. But then regionally, they haven't been playing with Hunter. They've had a sub, they've had Tango in, so. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how the boys are going either, but I'm certainly more confident in Team Power from an OCE perspective. I think that would be a great series,
yeah, I think
Daz.
so.
But Twisted Minds could 4-0 or Pioneers could pop off. I think last year it was KCP versus Veloce, was it in the
yes,
Well, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
KCP
KCP
picked
won
them
that,
and beat
so.
them 4-1, I believe.
Yeah.
They
So-
won it
So maybe that's
comfortably.
why they picked, because they could have
think it is
picked
why they
like
picked them.
they
It's
could have
two-
picked G1. or
Two
something.
thirds of the same team
Yeah.
actually. Senzo and SMW were on that team that lost to KCP
There you
last season.
go.
They lost to Banana Head and Scrub
mindset
last
did.
season in the very first match of Wildcard. So it makes sense to pick them here
Yep.
and try and run it back.
You want a good first matchup as well, I think. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure Space Station did that round 1 last time.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went
Club.
for a tough. They just said they'd rather have a
Got a
tougher
good warm-up.
matchup and get
Was
the
it the
warm-up.
club or was it 0-1? I forget if it was.
It was-
It was the club because
It was
they
the club.
remember they brought up visa issues. They wanted to make sure
Ah,
that they would be
thought.
there.
Oh, true.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yep.
they weren't sure if the MENA teams were going to make it.
Mhm.
That's a good memory you got there.
I try.
But yeah, this is day 1, and the actual matches, for those of you who are asking, start in exactly 3 hours time.
Yep.
So look at the time right now. Well,
Is
2 hours.
pre-show
2 hours, 59 minutes.
Pre-show 2.5 hours?
Pre-show is
Or
in
is it-
2.5 hours from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, one final thing before we wrap this one up. I see a few people actually asking about scrim leaks. Do you guys? I've not seen any scrims or anything
There's a mega
like that.
thread on
Did-
on Reddit.
I was gonna say, to be,
just
I
think
don't
they
know.
don't matter
I'm not
anymore
sitting
to
there
me.
behind somebody's PC watching them, so I don't know.
To me, scrims are interesting, and it's really funny sometimes hearing pro players when I ask how their scrims are going, coping in various ways about their bad
They're
scrim
so
results.
good.
Yeah, I
They're
love
good.
when they're specific.
They're
When I
the
say,
coping
how are your
scrims.
scrims? And the pros say, yeah, we beat this team that much, we won this, and they're listing scores, I know they're telling the truth. But when they're like, yeah, they're going really well, and I'm playing really
yeah,
well.
no, they're good. Yeah,
yeah,
we feel
good.
good. We feel
Great.
really
Good.
confident.
Love, yeah,
Team's feeling
so
good.
good. When they're just not specific about results, I know
Yeah.
they're getting destroyed. It's good.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It should be. We've got some Patreon. We have to finish with some Patreon.
Okay.
Oh,
quick-
right,
sorry,
right,
quick
yeah, of
Patreon
course.
questions.
First, this is a good one for everyone.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I message him. By the way, get in the Discord if you don't. Exclamation mark Patreon Discord.
I'm
What
not
is
sure.
it?
Exclamation
Chalk
mark
Discord.
Discord.
Exclamation mark Chalk
Hell
Discord.
nasty. Do you know the command? I don't know.
Exclamation
Hell
And
nasty would
exclamation
know.
mark Patreon. Make sure you get your sign up as well. We're gonna do some. We'll talk
Also,
about those things
well,
later.
before CJ reads one out, we are recording bonus episodes right here. We actually just
Yes.
did one,
Mhm.
and it's going to be out. It's like
Ooh.
it's like a half bonus episode.
Not
for
that Discord. That's
episode
the different
14.5.
Yeah, Chalk
so,
Discord. Jump
yeah,
in there.
you
Not
guys-
Rizzo's. Don't get in that
Chalk
one.
That
Discord,
one. That
there
one.
we go.
Yeah,
Chalk
yeah.
Discord.
But
Everyone
yeah,
get it.
you
So you
guys
can ask
are,
questions.
you patrons will get a little bit of a half
Watch the
episode,
link be
which
expired.
we want you to watch for your feedback on future
Yeah,
bonus
we've
episodes.
got like a
Y'all be giving a
pre-show
bonus
Discord.
episodes?
Yeah, we're
that's
recording
right, man.
before we go live.
Wait,
So
you guys need to get on that with First Touch.
What do we have?
Just
We
in
have
it.
14 and a half
listen,
bonus well,
14 and a half.
14 release right now. 14
Another
and a half
half
goes out
episode
today.
Today.
Wait, so this is like for your patrons, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to be a patron?
Oh, for $4.95 a month, is it?
But,
$5,
For the
$4.99.
low cost of
$4.99,
$5, you can access all of the
We've got
bonus
14
episode
episodes.
library, which is being added to every week, and hopefully
And
remains relevant forever.
And you can jump in this the Patreon section of the
Yeah.
Discord where we are. I've pinged them. I've got the
You've
questions, and I've got a good one to start off here. Just basically asking what team, pick one team that we're most excited to watch in the wildcard. Who are you most excited to see?
One team.
Do I have to pick
I'm
wild
most
card?
excited to
Yes,
see.
you have to pick wildcard. You're doing a
It's
viewing
wildcard
party for
week.
the-
I have to pick a wild card.
Most excited to
Whatever.
see. I would probably say G2.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh.
G2's exciting.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
seen G2
true.
in a while. Want to see what they look like together, and especially compared to some of the teams that are in here, like Falcons, Toastmans, all those. Like seeing their matchups would be kind of important because they're a good team.
I'll say Twisted Minds because they haven't played this season on a LAN, so I'm excited to see them play this season on a LAN. They've been doing really good in MENA, so I want to see if it translates.
I'm going Falcons, but one because I've rated them pretty
Back
highly.
from the
in
ceiling.
my- because last time, as you said, yeah, exactly. The last time, well, I was going to say the last time we saw him in a Swiss, but they'd had the Rotterdam one, which wasn't great. But obviously we had the Swiss as well, where they beat G2. So hopefully we can see Falcons pop off. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I forgot Moist was in the wild card, so I'm gonna say Moist. But if I can't pick Moist, my paid ad, I'm gonna pick G2. I think G2 is
beautiful.
pretty exciting to see as well.
They've been here for a while, actually. I talked to G2 this morning. They've been in, I think, 9 days in Europe, which is
That's a while, yeah.
Yeah.
very prepared. It's
Now,
cool.
Caleb, your man, always asks everyone this. A
Love
pineapple on pizza, just quickly.
I actually don't think I've only had pineapple pizza once. It's okay. It's okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
It's
And
alright.
this is an interesting one as well because we haven't really talked about that. But before, I guess, in between the live app and this one, we've had the regional MVPs get announced.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the big talking point was first killer
not
getting.
first killer.
Well,
again.
I
No.
mean, it's
No,
bad.
no.
It's first
Different
killer.
combo,
He's
different
gone to
combo.
sleep. It's bad timing, but
All right.
it's a different combo. Obviously, first killer getting MVP. Perhaps Abjack was another candidate as well.
Yeah, so my take on it is if I don't actually know if the MVP rewards were for online just regionals or if they were both regionals and international like majors combined. I think if it was international combined with regionals, Jack has to be pretty clear because he made it to all three and he
won.
made he won one of them, got top 6.
Right.
But if it's only regional, not including LAN results, I could see first killer, having a great shout for MVP.
Jack, I think you should have got MVP.
I think it should include, like, if it doesn't include regionals, I think we should maybe next season look at if it only includes regionals, we should look at it including LANs next season because really
I think it
regionals
should,
are basically qualifiers for the main event, which
the
are LANs.
LANs,
So
which are the main thing.
if you're performing at LAN, it has to weigh a little bit more, and I think Jack should have got that. But obviously, first killer is. Like as we said in every player
Regionally-
rankings, he's just always there. Like he's
Regionally
always
dominant,
so
bro.
good.
Yeah, regionally dominant.
Someone's asked as well an update on the bridge building / IKEA
We
building
really
competition.
want to do that, but we don't have an update.
Daz,
for
have you
yet.
heard about this?
No.
Oh man.
So we've thought, how we have the player content, and a lot of it is like, just fold your arms and stuff.
Right.
Or the content's like just regular interviews. We were thinking, let's just get the players to do like ordinary things. Like, let's see if they can put an IKEA flat pack together. How
Yes.
fast? Give them 5
Time
minutes
it.
with the team. Record them trying to put together a bedside table.
Mic them up.
We've got 10 Rocket League players. Build an IKEA couch. Go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Just
my
watch
god,
them,
the
like-
couch would take. That would not be.
No,
take
it'd
ages.
be. It's
Couch
maybe
would
a
not be
table, but I don't want to see like one leg up here, one leg
Yeah,
down.
no,
here,
we
like,
gotta
in the
get
wrong
them making
direction.
like chairs and then sit on the chair.
Yes.
To prove that it's functional.
Or
Yeah,
the other one was the bridge building competition.
bridge building.
Where we see if they
Balsa
who
wood
can
and
build
Not
the
a-
strongest
not a
little
whole
mini
bridge.
bridge that we.
just
we have to put
balsa
weights
wood
on.
bridge. Who can get
Oh,
that?
that would be sick.
Yeah,
I'm not
real
gonna lie.
life.
Get some popsicle
Contact.
sticks, some glue. That's all you need.
Surely we could. There's got to be an IKEA close. Maybe we can buy some
It
flat
definitely
packs,
is an
and we
IKEA.
can do a pre-show
Popsicle
event.
Oh my
Get
god,
them
we
down
should do
here.
it live on Chalkcast.
Live on Chalked IKEA flat pack.
I'm looking it up right now.
competition.
Incredible.
I mean, it wouldn't cost much. They'd be like, we can get some like $5 chairs to put together or
We
something.
can
and then they
we
have
can
to sell
fund it with the
You get a
Patreon.
$5 chair at IKEA?
No.
How
way.
much? I don't know.
I
How
don't.
much.
There's no way you get a $5 one.
Let's
I
get
don't
the
know, I think
let's
it's more
get the
like 30,
cheapest,
25, 30.
weakest chair ever. I don't know.
They've got to have some parts though. Like cheapest one's probably like 2 parts. We need like at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Some-
mind a
some-
bed a table, a bedside table, like
There's-
something with a
I-
little bit more, like some
Like this?
drawers and stuff. you gotta put
IKEA
in, but-
Dusseldorf. I know where we're headed after the show
Oh,
today.
this is a good one, by the way. Have the players try and draw their team's logo from memory.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. That's
Oh.
also really hard, even if you're trying to draw the logo.
It's horrible. It would be hilarious. But if one person did it okay, it'd be impressive.
20-minute
we're getting
drive to IKEA Dusseldorf.
We're
so
getting
we can
sent
make
chairs
this
from the
happen.
patrons in the Discord. That's what we love. Again,
That's
Chalk
too
Discord.
simple.
Make
Like,
sure you get in there.
Keep them coming. Keep the chairs
That might be
suggestions
too
coming.
simple, but look, we can sort something out. Anyway, that might be it from us. But it has been absolutely fantastic. I don't think there's any more
And
questions.
we're gonna try and do one of these tomorrow, the next day, if we can. We're
Yeah.
we're pretty chill today. We didn't have to rush to get
Mhm.
this, so hopefully we can avoid any kind of super late nights or sleep struggles with jet lag,
Yeah.
mainly for you two.
We should
I'll
be
be good.
We should be good. Yeah, Rizzo complains about jet lag, but I don't. So
Yeah,
I just said
think
I
beat
was a
mine.
little tired yesterday. I wasn't complaining that much. I just said, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, we're gonna
I
do
could go
this-
to sleep, but I'm good.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna do this every day. So
We're gonna try and do this every day we can. You're live when for the? It's just at 5.
Yeah, we'll probably go live a bit earlier, like 30 minutes before, so like 4:30. So
Live at
about
4:30.
2.5 hours.
So tune in.
Yeah,
to that.
thanks to Daz for joining us and giving us the inside scoop on roll days.
Shout
and
out to
Yeah.
Beb.
much more as well.
I'm
Of
sure we'll
course.
have him back
Glad to
on
be
in a few days' time, or get an update and
Yeah,
see
you
how
know,
see how
Casey
things
will-
go.
You'll probably see Dazerin making
Any-
an appearance, a
any
little cameo
developments.
appearance in the Rizzo stream today at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
True.
is basically what we're going to do every day. Obviously, as we get results and stuff, we can talk about tomorrow. We'll be able to talk about day 1 results and what's going on day 2.
SAS.
And
W
anything else that's
Saz.
going on. Let us know. As you said, jump in. If you want to see the videos where we're recording beforehand as well, jump in the Patreon as well. We've got heaps
Jump
of
into
videos recorded.
Patreon. It's $5. You know how much that is. That's a Twitch sub.
It's content.
That's maybe like a lunch or something. And then guess what? You get extra content.
You've
from
got
the
hours
streamers
of
that you love.
content.
Actually,
Mhm.
to consume.
it might be better than a sub. Technically,
Yeah,
you
well,
get more
you get it.
content.
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
Can
You
watch
know,
it.
I'll
said
even vouch for that on my
I'll
own
admit.
channel. I'll even vouch. Way better than a sub is subbing to the Patreon.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
true.
your support as well. That's we're pumping out some tournaments and stuff. We're doing some sponsored stuff. So that'll get a little back into the
Should
community
we
as
should we
well.
talk about what we talked about in our little group chat yesterday?
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Chat, we had a goal, okay? We
Yeah,
had a goal. We were
okay.
thinking if we hit 500 Patreon subscribers, we would host a big tournament.
We'll
We
do
would-
it. We'll do
We'll
an event.
just we'll
we-
just
We'll basically
massive.
take the money.
we'll just put it
put
all
it into an event.
We'll just do a big we'll just do
Wow.
a
Good
big
event.
big Chalkhouse event, but we need to hit that 500 500
for
mark.
500.
We'll just start pumping out.
We're currently at
yeah.
350, so 150. I don't even know how many
Yeah.
viewers are here right now, but I
No
guarantee
idea.
there's 150 because I
Yeah.
see a lot of chatters.
I don't want to say like an idea of what we'll do because I might.
Oh, we're still in the works with like
But-
what kind of. We want to go as
We-
big as possible.
we
Let's
want
just
to
say we
as
want to
like-
go as big
yeah.
as possible.
We want like
Right.
cutthroat tournaments with like just
Yeah.
bulk
Oh,
money
yeah.
for the winner.
And
Winner takes all 5K.
Winner takes all.
I love that.
But that's
Yeah,
it
should be
for
good.
today. It is time for us to go before production start looking for us.
Yep.
Getting confused.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for listening to Chalkcast episode number 48, I think it was. If you guys missed any part of it, you can check it out on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you guys listening. Shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you to Daz for joining us.
And of course, 1, 2,
Toodaloo.